What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the fifth album by rapper MC Hammer. Basically, this product is called the Funky Headhunter, and it came out in the winter of 1994. So this is a particular request from a folk that I gotten requests from in the past as far as this fair is going to happen. So I look within the pitch as far as this fair is going to go. Wanted to get to this one here within those pitches. This is a pretty rock solid type album within the pitch. It is going to get a classic score within the aspect behind it. For the most part, full bound, I have not listened to terribly much MC Hammer type music within the pitch. I do know and I'm aware that he's from the West Coast pitches like that. Some good type of appeals. He set the radio stations on fire back in 1990 with songs off of Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em, like Can't Touch This, some of those type ones. There were some other singles off there. I mean, the thing about that album, more so than Vanilla Ice within the pitch, Vanilla Ice is pretty much just like a one or a two hit wonder throughout a good portion of the 90s. But MC Hammer actually did have a series of albums. Like, he also had 1991's Too Legit to Quit and this particular album. But it seemed like every one of his albums had some degree of controversy, and it just felt like the fact that he was like a veritable kind of MC around this time throughout the early 90s pitches like that. Pretty good choice when you think of 90s rap, some of those type fairs, especially out of the West Coast, to fuck with this dude as far as this first going to happen with. He had pretty contemporary type appeal. Was this kind of the pitch that there was always something that kind of marred his albums just in the format of it. I think for the most part, at least, most people would probably say that Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em is a classic within those pitches, but I don't know. I don't know enough to comment too full bound about Too Legit to Quit. From what I realized about it, that had at least the occasional charting single, some of those type pitches. But this particular album had like some controversy about it, particularly because in the Pumps in a Bump music video, apparently MC Hammer had like Speedos on or something like that, which was not as apple within the pitch, which I mean, maybe it just kind of slacked him of street cred, some of those type pitches, but then when you look after it, Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em from 1990 was really not that street oriented either. It's kind of the pitch, and on that particular album, he was wearing parachute pants, so it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying within the particular aspect as far as those first have. So it's just within the pitch as far as saying you look within the tones of that, it's kind of within the pitch, but regardless, I would feel like, because I don't know a ton of full-bound albums by MC Hammer, I would say within the pitch, this is like a classic 90s album, especially out of rap music, I would say. This is like a staple here. A lot of the particular vibes that this album gave me is definitely reminded me of like Fresh Prince from the first from a good chunk. Reminded me of the Will Smith Fresh Prince show from a good chunk of the 90s. Pitches like that definitely reminded like Ice Cube, a little bit of Snoop Dogg in there occasionally with pitches like that. But this apparently was said that this tried to return to like the street sound that MC Hammer had in certain senses, which I think he does do that, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that you just look after it. He just has a particular fare as far as just being like a commercial version of it. And it's just the pitch as far as saying he's not as rugged as Snoop Dogg was in 1994 with Doggystyle, and he's not as rugged as Tupac was with albums like All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli, the album, some of those type pitches. So it's just within the format. To me, he's kind of like the more kind of commercial candidate as far as saying the one that's going to be on like the shows like Good Morning America and morning television, some of those type pitches. He just had a little bit more presentability with just the bounds that he leaped to with like his first couple albums, Too Legit to Quit and Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em. It's just the pitch that because that particular album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em, went diamond pitches like that, he was really the only rapper. MC Hammer was really the only rapper apart from Vanilla Ice that went that ferociously successful. So he was, in certain sense, like a banner rapper out of like a good chunk of the 90s. I mean, he outsold like Public Enemy, Ice Cube, NWA, Dr. Dre, even some of those type folks. It's just in the pitch that he kind of was a good commercial candidate as far as like the spotlight in terms of like full boundness in terms of mainstream. It's just kind of the pitch. So I'm really not that angry about this album as far as saying that despite the fact that the complaints or whatever would kind of happen, it's just kind of the factoid that he was fleshing out the particular sound as far as bringing like California West Coast and G-Funk, some of those type pitches, and just making it more in like an adaptable kind of market. It's just kind of, I would just look at it. I mean, the beats are really good on here. It's just the pitch as far as being able to say this is basically like getting like an SFW kind of Doggystyle album within those pitches. If you think that the Sleaze and the Sludge is songs like Gin and Juice by Snoop Dogg and Murder Was the Case and What's My Name, Who Am I, some of those type pitches, and Doggy Dog World, that's a little bit too like within the edge factor of it. I'd say this is a particular album that just has a little bit more. For the most part, this is not an explicit content album, which The only real song I think has some explicit content on there within the pitch is just Pumps and a Bump, which is excellent type fare. But I do like this particular fare seeing MC Hammer on songs like some of the songs off of Ice Cube's Lethal Injection, some of those type pitches. When he has songs like, when MC Hammer has songs like Really Dough and Ghetto Bird and You Know How We Do It, some of those type pitches. It's just an action type format, easy kind of staple. Once Doggystyle and Lethal Injection kind of got tiresome, this is a good candidate to kind of fuck with further. And this is a pretty good staple out of the cresting kind of G-Funk trend that happened throughout a good chunk of the 90s. So it's just excellently produced pitches like that. So this is going to get a classic score. Just look within it here, just the factoid behind it. Just felt like folks didn't really ride with this album as full bound, but I think in retrospect it has a lot more appeal than what's probably noted about it. Definitely shouldn't have been treated in that light. So yeah, the lead single was Pumps and a Bump. This is a particular one within those aspects. This was a top 30 single on the Billboard 100, pretty good on the dance charts and rap charts, some of those type of appeals. Pumps and a Bump is like a thrilling kind of Ice Cube-like kind of block party noise kind of get here. It also feels like the song You Know How We Do It or This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. That's another cat that has some particular vibes about it. I think Montel Jordan, this happened a little bit before Montel Jordan. I think Montel Jordan with This Is How We Do It came out in 1995, that particular fair, but it definitely has some of those aspects. I'm not sure if Montel Jordan was around 93, 94 was within the pace. There's a lot of similarities that this particular appeal, just that kind of this sports game and kind of this exercise type music pitches like that, it is kind of being in shape, but also the format, it is kind of like the gliss, like that 90s sheen type stuff within the format. But this particular song, there are some songs on here that it kind of weaves, despite the fact that this is really not that much of an explicit album. It does have the aspect as far as probably having some 40 ounces and swishers kind of in rotation, some of those type aspects just with the tone of like that typical kind of Cali kind of block party sludge and pitches like that where there would be red cups, some of those type of feels. So Pumps and Bump is an easy type one. If you don't want it to just be knocking out the 90, if you want like an early 90s type party pitch like that and you don't want it to just be centrally just like Doggystyle and Chronic, some of those type ones, this is a good nice one to throw in that rotation with some of that block party type of feel. So this works pretty well for like a 90s playlist, some of those type aspects. Definitely an easy kind of staple. So it's just the pitch. I really wouldn't have to say as even if the music video is not that terrific, I'd say the song is pretty damn excellent with the pitch. I looked at the aspect is getting some of those type ones, putting like a song like this easily with Gin and Juice, easily with Really Though, and like Ghetto Bird, some of those type ones. This easily has some West Coast slaps as far as those fairs can have an excellent type pitches. It's All Good as the second single. It's another nice one here. It's like an in-between kind of movie scene like bump, I'd say, within the aspects. This reminds of like 92 kind of Fresh Prince type music, some of those type of feels. This feels like Will Smith at any point should just hop on this song and have like some of his vocals on there. It's just good for some struts as far as those fairs can happen. So this album, this particular album has a number of strut type fairs on here as far as those pitches can happen. I just would look after just being able to say there's plenty of just snack run type music, some of those hop and bop type ones, just neighborhood jaunt, some of that type of feel, just appreciating summer, some of those type aspects, just easy, kind of hitting up like a video store, getting some Subway, getting some Arby's, getting some Burger King, some of those type aspects, just easy kind of boundness, just picking up some zigzags, some of that type fare, just good strut type fare. This is just this kind of song. It's All Good definitely reminds of Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff. Some type of moments just easily kind of reminds with that a little bit more edgy than Will Smith. I feel like he's not quite as pop centric as Will Smith was in 91, 92, but it's just the pitch as far as in this particular aspect here. Just feels like a good conduit type scene where it goes and fast forward is like the movie scene kind of has like some moments of just like getting your shit together and some of those type moments within it. So it's just kind of the product as far as doing that good aspect there. But Don't Stop is the third single. This is another nice one. This has the same aspect. This one's just not as strut centric. This one's just a little bit more cruise around pitch like that. It's like a breezy kind of 90s soak, kind of Cali Sunshine to kind of get. Is the Cali Sunshine kind of cruise around, I'd have to say. Good song to grab like an orange soda and like the summertime pitches like that. Orange soda or a Sprite, some of those type fairs just have like a good kind of drink in the whip, some of those type pitches. Just sunglasses on pitches like that, just appreciating like the sunshine. Feeling grand, it's an easy kind of cruise route pitch like that. Good song to glide to as far as those aspects kind of happen. So I just look within the pitch as far as saying the simple kind of June, July, August type music within some type formats just within the pitch as far as just getting towards simple kind of motions of just out and about. I mean, I would say within certain senses this could almost be like a this would be like a gas station type strut cut. I'd almost say that Don't Stop in certain senses could be like a gas station type strut, just kind of a hop around some of those type fares, just easy kind of neighborhood runs, but just within pitch, just having like some good, just basic kind of ride arounds pitch like that, just appreciating the sunlight, some of those type of feels. So I'd say, yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10. So the only song I don't recommend on here is just Funky Headhunter, the title track. So talk about that one real quick. This particular one just has a real old school kind of 1990, 1989, 1991 kind of boom bap type production, just kind of in a West Coast type sense. Just kind of a worse variation like the stuff that Digital Underground and folks like Public Enemy, some of those type folks kind of do within the pitch. Just was a throwback type song, but just didn't nail it as well. I realized that MC Hammer was a part of this movement as well within those pitches, but just didn't have as much full bound appeal within the within the aspects kind of behind it, the constructs kind of behind it. I just would say kind of minorly has vibes like How I Could Just Kill a Man by Cypress Hill, some of those type pitches, but just doesn't nail it full bound as well with like the schizo type ways that Cypress Hill kind of did. So it just reminds like Cypress Hill, How I Could Just Kill a Man, and then like the other one, that Insane in the Brain, some of those type pitches, but just doesn't nail it as full bound well. But other than that, out of these 15 songs of this album gets a 10 out of 10. So I'm not going to talk about Pumps and a Bump reprise. I'll just have like a minor description about it. It's just the same song as Pumps and a Bump, just with like R&B vocals from like a cat named Teddy. Some R&B cat on this particular song, and I'd say it's pretty smooth, but it's just within the aspects as far as saying it's the same type one. So it's basically like getting an R&B song with a single. It's pretty catchy, but it is almost 7 minutes within those aspects. I just prefer the original, but it's in good type pitch. It's still good, nice, so I'm going to recommend it still. So there are some good, like when we talk about like the street kind of MC Hammer on this particular album, there are some moments that do minorly remind of like possibly like Brother Lynch. Maybe not horrorcore as full bound like Brother Lynch, but that same sort of dark streak type aspect. Easily like Doggystyle at least, with minor touches of Brother Lynch on there, but just not as horror bound. There's kind of some late creeping, late shift pitches like that. Songs like Sleeping on the Master Plan has a good example of that. It's like a creeping kind of late, Sleeping on the Master Plan is like a creeping kind of late shift kind of task wrap ups kind of get here. Just feeling gritty, I'd say about this song, just kind of smoke a bit and weave as far as the spread can happen. So this just amidst the pitch. If MC Hammer would have been less commercial, this is the sort of stuff that he probably would have done. I feel like Snoop Dogg was a pro at doing these songs like the 90s pitch like that. So this is just something that just reminds of Doggystyle and Dog Food, some of those type pitches, some of those type ones. The Murder Was the Case soundtrack, plenty of junts off those particular albums. So just good type pitch. Just saying, if MC Hammer's just a little bit too clean cut, this is a good example of him having some edge type factors, some good moments. Help Lord Won't You Come's another one within those aspects as well. And this is a real standout one. Really appreciate this one. It's like a creeping kind of Snoop Dogg Murder Was the Case vibes kind of get about this song here. It's kind of some pop rap terror, I'd say. It's pretty litty type one. So if you like the title track off of if you like the song Murder Was the Case by Snoop Dogg off of Doggystyle, that same sort of just haunting typeness to the aspects as far as what's first going to happen. It just has the aspect just in like a more, I forgot what I was going to say about Help Lord Won't You Come, but it's just basically the aspect of just getting like that particular terror about it as far as what's first going to happen, just amidst the pitch of just like, kind of just like a more kind of just, it just really has like, not necessarily, it just kind of has kind of unworldly like sound on here. It feels like Snoop Dogg off of his Bone soundtrack, some of those pitches, but it's just years, probably 7-8 years before that particular album as far as those pitch comes. It's just one pitch, so I just like that particular tone, like that gothicness. So it's a good aspect to kind of get the occasional kind of gothic type tune from MC Hammer as far as those pitches, just an extra kind of light. From what I remember, I remember Tupac saying somewhere in interviews, pitches like that he was going to help MC Hammer put out like a 1996 album. I think that was something that was originally going to happen had Tupac not passed in 1996. I think the album exists somewhere, but it just pretty much is never going to come out. And it'd be dope to get that particular album at this stage. But I think Tupac was going to be on that album pitch like that. There were some singles. There's one that was on like the Tupac Greatest Hits from 1998 that I reviewed back in 2024 that Tupac kept for MC Hammer, but it just got screwed with because Tupac passed. But it's just the pitch as far as saying, I think the aspect of like a Tupac produced kind of MC Hammer album would have been pretty vicious, because it probably would have been like an offshoot of All Eyes on Me, something like that. But it's just the pitch as far as saying, I do like some of these type moments, because despite the fact that MC Hammer kind of has like a bad reputation, pitches like that, he does kind of have that commercial bite, and just the pitch that he is from the West Coast, and he is like some of these staples. He's just a more commercial version like Snoop Dogg was. Like Snoop Dogg was pretty commercial in 1993-94, but I think probably MC Hammer just had a little bit more attention grab within that particular sense, like a more commonplace, mainstream type sense. It's just a pitch, but Snoop Dogg definitely blew up pretty quickly, 93-94, but he had, MC Hammer had a couple multi-platinum type albums back from those days, but it's just the pitch as far as saying it's just some good aspects, but yeah, good stuff. Something About the Goldie and Me is a nice one. It's like a makeshift kind of Orange Skies breeze kind of get here, just a good relief from like typical Drear, I'd have to say, within those conducts. So just great for like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m. type cruise rounds, pitches like that. I would say if songs like Don't Stop and It's All Good are just some ones for like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock p.m. type sunshine. There's a number of other songs that have that on here as well. I definitely feel like this is just a reliever of one. It's kind of like a sigh of relief. Some of those that pitch this, appreciating like the orangeness, just the aspect of like a typical kind of lengthy day, this usual kind of evening in paradise. Good pitches like that. Nice song for the bells on here would be Don't Fight the Feeling. This like a soulful kind of round the block kind of beasy basic hop to kind of get within these aspects. Good song to let your soul bleed. It's a good song to let your soul bleed. Pitches like that just gab some of those type fares, just grub a bit. Some of those type aspects that have like decent kind of like basic kind of grub pasta meal pitches like that. Good rom-com type movie. Some of those type aspects just kind of meming some of those type fares within the tone as far as those pitch comments. It's kind of more homebound. It's kind of like within a relative type sense. There's not enough R&B type songs for the Beezies off this particular album to say it's like a full bound kind of just set the mood type. I mean, this is a good, nice one, but it just feels like a brief kind of offshoot within that particular format as far as like the conduct. This particular song is just a brief kind of mood set within those pitches, so it's just within the format. I'd probably say I feel like there probably should have been at least one other song off this album, like Don't Fight the Feeling, something within the pitch, a little bit within the aspect, but it's good for like the facet as far as that particular one goes. Just kind of the pitch of just like a pull aside within a relative type fashion, but this is briefer than probably what was expected considering the commercial flair of this album. But I also think this album probably need another song like Pumps in a Bump. That's probably one of the best moments off this album. It's just the pitch as far as saying with some good type tones. So another song that's just like It's All Good would be It's All That. It's like a nice in-between kind of feeling grand kind of cruise out. I'd had to say here, just a movie scene kind of conduit, just like It's All Good, some of the type ones. So it's just the same pitch, same sort of Montel Jordan and Coolio type vibes about some of those type songs with them pitch behind it, good type appeals. Good nice one and some edge type factors would be Oaktown. This is a great combo with Pumps and a Bump. I'd have to say here, this is like a basic G-Funk and hydraulic. Oaktown's like a basic G-Funk and hydraulic stump to kind of get here. Just classic Cali noise, I'd have to say. Just grab a 40 ounce and supplies pitches like that. Just good primer for some evening night type fare. Kind of the aspect of just getting towards like some Red Cup type music. Just the aspect of it probably being 5:45. Shit's about to go down within some of those type aspects as far as the kickoff within those fares behind it. I mean, I feel like the aspect this kind of weaves in between kind of going from like Deshaun kind of strut type moments to more of like pop off type moments as well. I'd say within the pitch, at least Pumps and a Bump and Oaktown has some of those type moments within the pitch. But doesn't have as many full bound kind of ass loads of these as like the probably expectation. Now I do feel like this is pretty good conduct to get some of these, but it's just kind of the product of it. But something for the OGs is a quality one. It's like a good tribute tune, like a pop rap sense, I'd have to say here. It just kind of reminds of Montel Jordan, I'd have to say, with an aspect. So it's just kind of like Tupac homies type noise with them pitches like that. It's kind of shout out to folks that are really getting in heavy within some of those type aspects as far as the fair's gonna happen. Just like the tone of that particular fair. Just basically it makes it like commercial with an aspect as far as just a shout out and kind of chunk deuces type tune, just with an aspect of just having it and like a typical kind of Montel Jordan type 90s gloss type format of it. One More Time is a nice one as well. It's like a shiny kind of pop rap gliss kind of getting a G-Funk sense, I'd have to say here. Just neighborhood activity, I'd have to say, just a poppy kind of air and run. Yeah, it's just another glaze type one, I'd say, about One More Time, some of those type pitches. Relative commercial bite about that one, pretty similar. Would have been a decent kind of fourth or fifth single type choice pitch, just like that. Goes pretty well with like the song, pretty well with like the song Something About the Goldie and Me, but just not quite as late in the evening. I had to say maybe like 3 o'clock, 2:30 pitches like that, some stuff fair. It's just basic kind of G-Funk ride rounds. Clap Your Hands is a nice one. It's like a neighborhood strut, I'd have to say, just a snack run, kind of jolly summer pep to kind of get within the aspects here. Just kind of some movings, just a glazed usual day within those conducts of it. So dislike songs like It's All Good, Don't Stop, some of those type pitches within format. Clap Your Hands, just another good neighborhood strut. Just going to the video store, some of those type pitches, picking up Subway, some of those particular type feels, just good aspects within those tones behind it. I think the last song I haven't talked about on here, just within pitch, would probably Break 'Em Off, Something Proper. It's like a routine kind of day shift cruise around, I'd have to say, within aspects here. Just grab some goodies, pitches like that. It's kind of some more day sun. It's kind of some further day sunshine within pitches like that. Break 'Em Off, Something Proper just feels like an NWA and Eazy-E type song within those pitches. So it's good type format, just getting like those neighborhood kind of city hop type struts that they were good at back in like the early 90s pitches like that. So it's just within the format of it. So yeah, just some good type pitches. I think I talked about every song on here within those fares. So this album gets a 10 out of 10 within the aspects behind it. The social score I'll go ahead and give probably like a 9.75 or 10 out of 10. I look within the aspect, the quality of this album is on here pretty good. It is kind of is like whether or not like the aspect of like the reception is going to be as high. I would say within the pitch, if you have like MC Hammer folks that don't particularly like him as full bound, I'd probably say it'd be a 9.75, but the actual quality of it here has the modesty as far as saying that it is a 10 out of 10. I just look, there are plenty of social moments on here. I do like some of these house party and block party type bumps like Pumps in a Bump and Oaktown, some of those type moments. It's not stacked with those, but it's at least good type pitch for like some standard kind of block party typeness. It's easy kind of West Coast sunshine, some of those aspects like Red Cup type fare and like a relative. I mean, it's a little bit more commercial, a little bit more gathered, not quite as like sludgy as like Snoop Dogg and Tupac and like folks like that. I'd have to say like Dog Pound and some of those type folks and Cypress Hill and folks like that, but just within the aspect as far as saying it does have some of those type of moments. There's a number of good Cali Sunshine kind of cruise arounds and snack run type songs on there. It's just a good aspect, either when it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, amidst like the lunch rush, just getting like some good Burger King and Sprites pitches like that, some of those type of aspects, just amidst like the fair behind it and other type pitches as far as saying it's kind of amidst like evening shift, kind of wind down type mode, but still in a relative kind of hoppiness. There are a couple night shift type songs for like some relative product, like some step out. Those are some extra type moments to kind of throw in, like the conduct, like some night fair. But for the most part, I mean, not for the most part in terms of a bad way, but just the pitch. It just has like aspects between here and there type. This album has day sunshine and night sleeves as far as what's supposed to happen, but just more primarily based around the day sunshine. So it's just the pitch. MC Hammer was pretty commercial around this time, so he was making moves around that particular aspect. It's just the pitch that he was kind of helping carry the torch for like commercial rap around this time. So it's just some pitch as far as saying, so I'd say, yeah, 10 social with an aspect. In terms of future, like MC Hammer has not really been as full bound within recent times, not really as full bound sure when he last dropped an album, but I think he at least made it possibly like the early 2000s. But considering he'd been a product of rap since like the 80s, this kind of pitch as far as saying he is an OG within those formats, so just within pitch as far as saying that's the product of it. But yeah, I don't see the hate as to why MC Hammer had such flack around this time. This is a pretty excellent type album. Just basically, it's basically just like a commercial kind of version of Doggystyle from 1993, pitches like that. I'd have to say within the product of it, just has some commercial bite and it nails it pretty well. Kind of in between like Snoop Dogg and Montel Jordan, I'd have to say, and that's just some good type of appeal to kind of get.